and in this video we are going to start with a topic of chemistry, and that is going to be the first topic in the series or the playlist. And the topics that we cover would be of the level of the 11th and 12th grade, something that you will come across in schools of any different curriculum or also on the SAT subject test. So before we get started with the concepts like thermodynamics or reactions or let's say the states of matter, let's also take a moment to talk about the units that are actually used in the chemistry subject. So there are two kinds of units that you should know about. One is the SI units, that means the standard that is used across the world. So let's get started with some of the SI units. The three most recognizable units are for the quantities of length, time, and mass. Now the SI unit for length is not a mile or anything, it's a meter, represented by a simple m. The SI unit for time is a second, represented by a small s. The SI unit for mass is a kilogram, represented by the letters K and G together. So those are the three common ones. Then there are some other SI units. For example, for the quantity of thermodynamic temperature, we don't use Fahrenheit, we don't use Celsius, we use the quantity of Kelvin, represented by a capital K. The next quantity is amount of substance. Now, amount of a substance is represented by the SI unit mole, which is also abbreviated as MOL. The next quantity is that of electrical charge. An electrical charge itself is sometimes represented by the quantity Q, and the SI unit for that is a coulomb, represented by the letter C. And the last SI quantity, there are 7 of them, is luminous intensity. This one is not used in chemistry at this level. It might be used otherwise. It's just represented by the unit of candela. CD in short. So those are the SI units. And then there are some derived units that you should also know about. So let's talk about the derived units. The first main derived unit is that of force. Now force, represented by F, the derived unit is Newton, or just represented by an N. And it is referred, in case of SI units, in terms of SI units, as kg meter per second square. So that's the first derived unit. The second derived unit is of energy, which is represented by U, and the derived unit is a joule. And in terms of the SI units, 1 joule is equal to 1 kg meter square per second square. The third derived unit is pressure, which is P, represented by the derived unit of Pascal, PA. And in terms of SI units, it is equal to kg per meter per second square. The fourth derived unit is of power, which is represented in watts, and in SI terms, it is kg meter square per second cube. The fifth derived unit is electrical current, represented by I, and it is measured in amperes, or A, and in SI units it is equal to coulomb per second. And the sixth and the last derived unit that we will be covering in this video is electrical potential. We will not be discussing the definitions right now, just the units, so that you have a clear idea, a clear revision of what these things are before we go ahead. Electrical potential represented by V, and the unit is a volt, which is equal to joules per coulomb. So that is all that you need to know about the units and the derived units, the SI units and the derived units.